my virtual violinists. Today we're going to learn a spooky tune called Tiptoe, and it is from a beginner violin book called Fiddle Time Joggers, which is the same book that we have played Fast Lane from and Katie's Waltz. So we're going to start on the G string. I'll play it for you so you can hear how it sounds. At the end you've got to shout boo. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. So it's spooky sounding because it's in a minor key, and the notes are quite low notes, so it sounds a little bit spooky. Now, the melody goes like this. So we're going to start on an open G string, and you only need finger 1, and the shape of the melody is like this. I am going up to D, I am going up to D, I am staying down on G, D, 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 G. Okay, and that's the bread of the sandwich. So we play the bread at the beginning. Then for the middle bit, the ham, we just shift what we've just played up a string, and then we go back down to the G string and play the bread again. So you need to give me a little wave with your hands. And you always start with your fingers open because it starts on an open string, this one. So it goes like this. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Off, 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 G, G. So every sentence starts with your finger off the string. That's very important, otherwise you end up the wrong way round. So we're just going to practice getting a nice, neat, clear sound with our first finger going off and on. So first of all, let's check we've got violins right on our shoulders. And let's make sure we've got beautiful bow holes. Just point it up towards the sky. Make sure you've got that curly thumb on the silver bit. And your fingers over like this, and your little finger nice and curly. You should be able to wobble your bow with your left hand, and those fingers should just be nice and flexible, not locked in one position. So we've got nice soft fingers, and we're going to land on the E string, and then we're going to seesaw over to the G string. Okay, now remember, G string is a little bit thicker than the others, so we have to be quite heavy to get a nice sound. Just practice some nice, solid G string sounds. Just small bows. And stop. Okay, good. Now let's get our left hands in their grown-up places. And we're going to try this. So we're going to go off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Okay, and when you're doing that, I want you to really, really listen to make sure your sound is very clean. Because if your fingers aren't going down and coming off at the right times, then you get this sound. And if you're hearing that sound, that means your finger is being a little bit late and it has to go down a little bit sooner. So you could practice it by plucking the string off, on, then take it off, pluck, put it on. And when you're plucking it, if you're getting a nice ringing sound, then that means that your left hand fingers are going down at the right time. So let's just practice the line that goes, I am going up to D. Okay, so remember, start off, 1, 2, ready, play. And D. Okay, how did that go? Did you remember to go to D at the right time? I am going up to D. Let's try it one more time. Ready, 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 go. Up to change D. Then you have to seesaw back to G string and you do it all again. Ready, go. I am going up to D. Now this time you start with your finger off, but this time we're going to do I am staying down on G. Okay, and then to finish off with, you go D, 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 D. So no fingers for that bit, just D, 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 G, G. Let's see if we can play that. That's the bread of our sandwich. Ready and G. G and D, 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 G, G. Okay, and we're going to repeat the whole thing, but we're going to move up to D string this time. Now I think D string is a little bit trickier because G string only has one neighbour. G string only has this D string to avoid. Okay, so as long as you have your diplodocus nice and high, your bow will reach G string by itself. When you're playing D string though, D string has two neighbours. It has A string and G string. So when you're playing this for the first time, just keep an eye on your bow and make sure you're just hitting the D string. Okay, we're just doing little staccato bows, nice and spiky. Dub, 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 dub. Let's just try some staccato D string sounds. Here we go. Ready, 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 play. Okay, and now we're going to get our first fingers ready. And we're going to do off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Okay, let's get ready with our tune. Ready, go. I am going up to A. And the same thing again, no fingers to begin with. I am going up to A. I am staying down on D. A, D, D. And that's the ham of our sandwich. So we've nearly finished the tune. All that's left is to go back, seesaw back onto the G string and play this bit again. Okay, so very, very important when we're playing this that you stay staccato, and that makes it sound very spooky. And it's just your first thing, and you always remember to stay off the string first. Off, on, off, on, off, on, D. Off, on, off, on, off, on, D. Off, on, stay on G. D, 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 G, G. So we're going to try it all the way through twice. For the first time we're going to see if we can use our ears to do this, so I'm not going to put the music up on the screen. Let's have a little go. Let's get our violins right on our shoulders, hand in its grown-up place. Make sure you've got a lovely open window like this. And you never want your bow to come off the string in this tune. You just want to keep your bow on the strings, and wherever it lands when you have to do a string crossing, you just seesaw on to the next string. Let's have a go. Nice and slowly. Off first. Ready, play. Up to D, I am going. Up to D, I am staying. Down on G, D string. Back to G string. I am staying down on G. D. Boom! How did you get on? Did you manage to do all of those string crossings? And did you manage to keep your finger off for the very first note of every sentence? Something to practice. Right, now just in case you're a little bit lost off with the structure of the piece, I'm going to try it one more time, but this time I'm going to flash the music up on the screen. Now I'll just show you, it's got some good spooky pictures at the top. Right, so you know that this very, very low note is a G. And in this piece, because you've only got open strings and first fingers, if it's a space note, it's an open string. But if it's a line note, then it's a first finger. So that's a little hint with this piece. So when you start on your G, G1, 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 D, G1, 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 D, G1, 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 G, then jump up to D, 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 G, rest, 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 D, and then we start it again on D. So let's try it once with the music this time. And even if you know it by ear, see if you can follow the music, because that's really, really helpful to be able to do that. Here we go, last time. Violins right on shoulders. Now I hope you enjoyed learning Tiptoe Boo. Have a little practice of that and come back to the video and play along with it. And I hope you've had a really nice few violin lessons over the last few weeks. It's been very, very unusual. And I hope that you will consider taking on some violin lessons if you don't already, because I'd love to see you again. It has been a very, very unusual term because I haven't seen you much at all. You've seen me, but I haven't seen you. So please, please, if you've really, really enjoyed violin lessons, ask mum or dad or whoever you live with, or your teacher. Let them know that you're interested, and they can sort that out for you. Okay, thank you. You have a lovely summer holiday, everybody. Bye-bye.